Alright guys, we are back and we only have like 1 or 2 minutes before we jump into the next game. The players are ready, we're in the lobby, Abyssal City is going to be the map. But before we talk about the game, get your lazy ass off your couch. Wherever, go to your computer. I don't care if you have to look for your keyboard or whatever.
I don't care if you're really tired.
You have to do something right now.
Yeah.
This is like a free tournament. It's an amazing production, amazing quality. The online games were already incredible. IronSquid was doing such a great job. And now it's time for you to do something, and you have to show them some support. Everyone is always talking about, well, they want to have this in esports, they want to have that. So now make sure that all the sponsors and everyone sees that this really has an effect. Make sure that you go on Twitter. You're going to tweet at IronSquid Gaming.
Hashtag Squid2.
Hashtag Squid2. And this is not like an empty phrase like blah, 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 Cass is going through it. I want all of you to do it right now. There are 28,000 people. I'm okay with 27,000.
Yeah, about 1,000 of you can skip out, but that's it.
Yeah. So tweet at them, say thank you, go to ogaming.tv.
Upvote the Reddit thread as well.
Upvote the Reddit threads, go to ironsquid.tv. Make sure that you add all the people that are involved in this. If you can actually show a lot of numbers, that is good for the tournament, that's good for talking to sponsors, and in the end, it's good for you.
And look at that wave! So, oh my god!
Look at the Lola here. So definitely make sure to do that right now. Make sure to add the two of us as well, at ProxyWolf, myself at Kaldor. And we had a question. It came up a couple of times. People were asking if Edebisi is actually observing this tournament. And guess what, guys? He's not. We have another observer here. He was already observing the online part of the tournament. It's Funkadelic, and his Twitter account is at FunkerStarcraft. So check him out as well. Edebisi has some serious competition in Europe right now.
It looks like it, man. Funkadelic doing pretty good.
So, guys, definitely do that. We have a couple of more minutes. We are starting now with the game and also with our openings. But if you didn't do it just yet, then I'm completely serious. Get your lazy ass off your couch and bam, do it now.
Get out of bed. Do what you need to do. Let's introduce the players. Here is the Terran hope of the tournament. One Terran stands among 3 Zergs, and this is him. It's Marine King, taking that last game, taking 1 point on the scoreboard.
And to the left, we have his opponent. It is our Startail player, Startail Life, with a 2-1. A favorite in this tournament. A lot of people said he's going to be the one. He's going to be the one taking them down. But now we have Marine King on a map where Terran players are not too happy against Zerg.
Yeah, it's a rough map for Terran in general. The third base is far away as a Zerg player, but this is why Life knows to check for proxies right away, because he says, well, Marine King might not want to play a long game on this map. He might not want to trifle with that third base, so I could see him proxying. So he checks the line of sight blocker. He's being very active with the scouting right now.
The map is a little bit worse for Protoss, but for Terran, it's also, you can always get at the third base with a planetary fortress. But which Terran player actually wants to build a planetary fortress? You want to have the orbitals, and we are talking about Marine King here. So the chances that he does that are very unlikely. What he does, though, is going to go into the 14cc again. On the high ground, he's not going to take any chances here. And Life has the drone scout out, and he also has currently his own hatch building. So needs to make sure that the drone doesn't do any damage, but Marine King with a good opening, playing it a little bit safer, though, than map number 1.
With these two openings collide, there's really no advantage to either player. It's a pretty safe situation for both. Marine King, now, once he finds out what Life is doing, if he scouts, which he's been reluctant to do so far in the series, will be a little bit disappointed he didn't make his command center on the low ground, but that's the only thing he can really be sad about.
It's still fine. I mean, this is a good opening. You have the command center out early, you go into your barracks, and then you can just do whatever you want in the main base. He would have loved to deny the scouting, because he wants to go into the double gas that we see now. A refinery, boom, number 1, number 2.
Ooh, he may trap the drone. The drone hasn't seen this yet.
Yeah, that hasn't been scouted. And wow, he actually takes it down. No scouting information for Life. This was really well done by Marine King.
Very clever here. He has no information about the gases, so now he doesn't know if it's going to be a third CC. He doesn't know if it's going to be fast barracks follow-up. And Life going for a very fast double hatch. It looks like double hatch even before pool. With gas, I'm pretty sure that was. That's a great response to what he's already seen.
It definitely is. Life with a very greedy opening, but you know, with Marine King deciding to go into the tech, that could be punished.
It could be. It's going to be very difficult for him to defend against Hellion Harass, which we are going to see. The factory comes out here very quick here at the 4:20-minute mark. That's pretty fast considering we've had a CC first come out for Marine King. And for Life right now, what he needs to do is get some more information. Somehow, some way. Send his first few lings out. Try to see if there are Hellions coming. Maybe try to run up that ramp, because at this point in time, he doesn't even have Ling production start. He only went into Queens. A very fast Zergling speed that's going to be really, really useful for him to defend those Hellions, but he has to know they're coming first.
And there's a question, how many is Marine King actually going to build?
Ooh, double
3 bases
factory.
like this, yeah, and this is exactly what I was waiting for. The second factory being dropped, because at this time, Marine King can go into a massive amount of Hellions. And think about how the map works. You have this huge distance between natural and third base. If Marine King is anticipating an early third on a map like Abyssal City, he can move in with a lot of Hellions, take down the drones, and he can even try to split them up if he goes for a keen amount of drones. I don't really think that's something that he's going to do.
Right.
Keen is still like the one shining example of, can I get more Hellions than SCVs in the game?
Yeah. Is he? Do I build more Hellions or kill more drones? You know, can his drone count exceed his Hellion count? He's always trying to find the balance. I think we're just going to see the Infernal Pre-Igniter go down. We're going to see a switch on the factory. There it is. And I think you're right. It's not going to be an insane amount of Hellions, but this is going to be a scary opening, especially considering that Life does not know it's coming.
Yeah, Life at this point really doesn't know what's going on here. Blue Flame Hellions are going to be built here, so that's going to be pretty awesome for Marine King if he can sneak them in. And we have seen so many Zerg players die to this. Think about Jaedong.
Yeah.
Think about Jaedong versus Flash. It was one of those series. No, sorry, not the game against Flash. The game that he played against Dream, I think that was.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about it, but it was the map that we had on Cloud Kingdom. Jaedong, with a great opening, has a lead in the game. Suddenly, all those Hellions boom in his base and roast 40 drones. And there was just nothing that he can do about it. So, if you don't see it coming, if you don't know what's going on, it can kill you. But here comes a counterattack, and that wall is not open. It's not closed. He immediately lifts the supply depot on the ramp. Really important for him here. The Zerglings rushing in. The Hellions are there. The Lings are gone.
This is,
but
you know, the Lings are gone, but he bought himself time, and now he starts the Roach Warren. Immediately, he's seen everything. This is so important. But even though he's seen it, he still needs more time. The Roach Warren is not done. He starts a Spineclaw. The third base is forfeit. He's not going to be able to defend his drones there. He needs to pull them out, and in fact, he does not. He's got a few queens here, but if Marine King goes straight for that third base, he should have no trouble killing the drones.
Blue Flame is about to kick in, guys, and then those Zerglings will be useless, but now he can get Roaches, and that's what he does. There is still some time left for Marine King to do damage. Can he go in here? Here come the Lings, trying to buy time. He wants to kill the Queen too.
This is razor thin here for Marine King. He's killing the Queen, but it looks like Life is actually defended.
Yeah.
It's not over yet, but the Roaches are popping out.
The Roaches are out, and now the Harvester count 42 to 42 mules for Marine King, but the third base for Life.
It's totally uncontested. He did not attack there. Had he gone in, he could have done so much damage, but this is a little bit unlucky. He doesn't know the third base is there, but he can assume. Now he's going to see it, and still, the Roaches need to get over here. In fact, he can kill some drones.
Yes, and he can kill a lot with a good placement, and he's trying to get between the mineral patches. That's the best area that he could go for. He's making the best out of the few Hellions that he had still left on the map, but in total, he could only kill 4 workers. This is how amazing Life defended here.
30 supply lead for Life, 94 to 61 right now. Life making 26 Lings, and he's actually forcing a depot down. He's going to be able to kill some SCVs.
Look at that minimap.
And
so many units. He's going in. There is no wall. One siege tank. Is one siege tank really going to save Marine King here?
It doesn't look like it. We may have our only Terran eliminated here, 3-1. He's losing so much, he can't let those depots down, or the Lings are going to get in, but he's going to lose his SCVs regardless.
This is a massacre. He's losing so many of his Harvesters. Down 21 already. Marine King is losing ground, while his Life is just sending units across the map to the right side. The Terran player dropped down to 40 supply against 88, and here comes Life crushing through the wall, taking down supply depots, taking down everything in his path, and the Synchrone is not done.
It's not over yet. The Lings running, taking out more depots. The command center lifts. Marine King desperate to hold here. Good repairs on his depots. He's trying to maximize the damage of the Hellions, but Life, he's not just putting all of his eggs in one basket. He spreads the creep here. He walks back. He's got evolution chambers on the way. This is not an all-in. He can't land his CC here.
He blocks the CC with a creep. Life is insane. There are 2 Marines somewhere on this map, and here they come. They're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna deal with that. But for Marine King, this is the most annoying part ever. He has 45 total supply, and StarTale's Life has 100 total supply and 56 Harvesters. More Harvesters than Marine King has army and supply, Harvester supply combined.
I mean, just look at those awkward command centers. Look at that.
They're floating there.
One Marine, because that's all he's got. He doesn't have anything to even remove the Overlord. Now he has to wait. He's got 2 awkward floating command centers. That's all his hope he's got here.
They are just standing there, standing still, looking pretty, but nothing else that they can do and accomplish. Here comes the Spire, and Life, well, even taking a fourth
The
base.
game-
Like, you mine from 1, I mine from 4. That's
Yeah,
fair.
at this point, Life has the game in his hands like clay, and he can mold it into whatever he wants. He's got the ability to spread his creep over, not only to his fourth base, but beyond. He can move it over to that watchtower. Lings alone are not going to cut it against these Hellions on the map. That's one of the weasons I think where we're seeing the Spire. I think what we're going to see is him build up to attack at Marine King's eventual third base with a ton of Lings, Banelings upgrades. He could go for Roaches instead of Banelings, which it seems to be. He's getting Roach speed right now, even getting +1 for his Roaches.
At this point, really, Jurassic Park was proven to be true once again. Life is going to find a way. This is the story of this fourth map that we have. Life now with his perfect position. Marine King, he is known for his GG timings, and he is going to fight to the last SCV, to the last second. He knows this is the last map, but now it would be not only a small miracle, it would be an incredible miracle if he can turn this game around with Life being in such a dominant position.
Yeah, you know, the problem with this incredible miracle is that Life's good, man.
Yeah.
LG here, and I gotta say, Life...
Marine King needs some prime play.
He certainly will. Here come the Mutas. He's got no answer. The Thor is almost out. There's only one turret here. He has to cancel that turret.
Oh, the
Marine
tank.
King's life
The
is
tank.
flashing before his eyes here, and the tanks are vulnerable, as you said.
He can't even move in. He doesn't take down the siege tank, but all these units that he just lost, it's too much. 35 harvesters killed. There
There's the
are
Thor.
the Mutalisks. Are they going for the... Yes, they are going straight for the magic box. Itra introduced it to professional play. He didn't invent it, but he was the one who we saw use it
Popularized it,
first
yeah.
in a major tournament. And now Marine King, yes, he saves the Thor. There were too few Mutalisks to take down the Thor and the Harvesters, but still, this much pressure. Marine King on 2 bases against 4.
He is holding on, man, and you better hope that thread is made of some sort of really tough material, because Life is pulling hard. He's tugging. He's making his Infestor tech transition. He's getting into the Hive tech right now. He's even getting Burrow. He's got total map dominance. This is a mistake to try to walk out against this many Zerglings.
Yeah, just look at that. I mean, there's always the saying, you shouldn't kick a man when he's down, but that's exactly what Life does. He is hitting Marine King at every angle, and he's hitting him hard. He is kicking him and beating him to a pump. Look at that. Marine King is afraid to move out right now, and I don't blame him. All these attacks have done so much damage. The resources lost at this point are still very, very even, but with this base, just look at the economy that Life has.
Yeah, the resources mined are
of life.
definitely not even, and look at that damage output on those Thors. He's able to push the Mutas back, but the Mutas are the least of his problems. The big problem is the Corruptors that are coming out here. With the Hive finishing up, he's going to be able to start a Greater Spire, and Life is just building that bank now. He's already maxed out, essentially. He's got a few more Corruptors he wants to make. Then once his Greater Spire is finished, he's going to put that bank into Broodlords, and Marine King does not have the economy to really make Viking transitions possible. He's starting another Starport now.
He's trying.
He's trying, you know. He's really holding on here. He's been able to defend so well, but his economy is in tatters. Where's the third base? It's moving over now. It's going to be met with a Ling. In fact, a Ling that is burrowed, so this is just further annoyances for Marine King.
I mean, you can't blame a girl for trying. Marine King is trying his hardest. He's still in a position where he wants to get this massive amount of army of mech that we talked about in game number 1. He wants to just have a chance here. This is the last map for him. Life is taking bases all over the map, top left, bottom right, and moving in at the same time, trying to finish it.
This is just, it's, again, a trade for energy for units for Life. He didn't actually get that much done, and I have to say Marine King is really holding on here tight. And the closer he gets to the max, the better chance he has of winning a fight. But winning one fight may not be enough. When that Greater Spire finishes, we are going to see Broodlords fly.
Exactly, that's the point, the Greater Spire. It's not only about reaching that max, but it's about this tech advantage that Life has. You can't hit the timing that you want. You are up against a player that has so many upgrades. He has an upgrade advantage. He has this sick bank, 3,600 minerals, all that gas. He has 52 lava. Life has 52 lava. How many times have we seen Zerg players die because they didn't have the production? But this is not something the Marine King can hope for.
Exactly. This is not something Life is worried about in the slightest. +2 for Roaches coming out, as well as for Lings and Broodlings. The first 8 Broodlords are morphing, and this is going to be a disaster for Marine King. He now starts additional Vikings. He's getting more Thors out. We talked about this already before. This is a great choice when you don't have the economy to make more Starports. You just continue Thor production.
Yeah, and you don't have the time.
Exactly. He needs to get this out. This is desperation mode right now for Marine King. He needs to hang on here, take a fight, and then somehow be able to push across the map. But with the composition he's building, it's a slow mech composition. Even if he can hold and trade well against Life's army, look at that crease spread. He's going to take way too long to walk across the map. And Life is going to be able to remax instantly with all that larva you talked about with the bank he's building now. He even has the Ultralisk transition on the
What
way.
Life doesn't do, what I really would like to see him build now, is Extractors at the top left and bottom right. He is not really starving for minerals, but he is really hurt when it comes down to the gas. Not because he doesn't have a good economy, but because he is just researching so much at this point. So if he gets the additional gas, Marine King has no chance anymore. Those Extractors could be crucial if he doesn't win this battle, but he has the better army for sure.
He certainly does. The Corruptor's actually taking some serious shots from the Vikings and from the Thors. He's got enough Thors to hold this initial wave, but now the Rulings are closing distance. He's got Investor support. Marine King is in trouble. He needs to hold so far. It doesn't look like he can really hang on anymore with all the invested Terrans coming down. He's dropping in supply, and the Remax is insane. 122 Lings on the way for Life.
There's just no Viking anymore, and even if he gets the Vikings now, suddenly we have the Zerglings, and they're such a big problem for him to deal with. There are
The
3 Blue Flame Hellions
turrets coming down.
He's trying his best, he's trying what he can do, but the big problem is, look at this economy, look at the minimap, look at this insane amount of units streaming to the top right.
He's built some of those additional extractors. He has 700 gas. He's just remaxing, and the next wave may be the end of not only Marine King in this tournament, but with Terran as well.
He's dropping the hammer, and he is taking him down. Marine King trying to hold on, shielding his Hellions, but he just does not have the numbers. There is too much of the swarm. Kerrigan would be proud. Life is overwhelming with Marine King. Zerg units everywhere, in the natural, in the third base. It is just insane, and here comes the transition into the Ultralisks.
Like you said, Marine King fights to the last SCB. His GG timings are something that we have talked about several times in the past. Marine King able to take one win in this tournament, but it looks like Life is going to the finals. This is what most people expected. Great bungle on those Vikings. Marine King able to hold the ramp a little bit longer, but once those Ultralisks get in here, I just don't know how long he's really going to make this work.
And what good is it going to be for him if he actually holds his main base? There, he can't even mine from the main base anymore.
It's
Marine King is just begging for mercy here, but Life doesn't grant it.
Yeah, we see some Vikings landing here, and they're almost as futile as the ones in the Heart of the Storm cinematic at this point with all these Ultralisks running in. Triple the supply here for Life. He's trying to decide what to build next. He makes a Hydralist in. Manor Hydralist in here.
He goes for the Hydra, and he's like, buddy, seriously, are you still gonna stay in the game? You know it's over. I know it's over. Everyone knows it's over.
You
have no mining anymore. Your third base is at my mercy. There is nothing you could do.
He's
really going for it.
I think he's going to try to walk Hydras across and dance them. I think that may be what we see.
I wouldn't blame him.
Oh, this is going to be the end. The Thors try to make their last stand. The Ultras, on a ramp are not the best choice, but I mean, he can lose 20 Ultras and Marine King won't be able to recover.
Marine King with a choke point control here, holding his base, but as we said, he has oh wow, 35 Hydralisks.
Oh my god.
Wow, hey, look at how he's wasting his Ultralisks. He's just going up the ramp and he's like, yeah, well, take them down. I'm going into the choke point. I do not care.
Look at the creep. In a few seconds, he's actually going to have creep at Marine King's natural.
That's a
sad face there for Marine King.
He's going to do it. He's going to write a poem with the Zerglings.
I believe that's the German word for dead, and I think that's pretty much what Marine King is at this point.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he drops that while we are in France, Korean player.
Here come the Hydralists, and this is what Marine King is dreading. He's embarrassed here by the Hydras. Will we see a dance? It's possible.
Will we see the Hydra dance? He's taking down the first command center, and he is using those guys. No dance so far.
Lord morphing on the ramp. He's using corruption on the siege tanks.
The only thing that is
GG, and Life advances to the finals.
Life advances, takes down Marine King in the first semifinal. He had IronSquid with a 3-1. Impressive play by the young Zerg player. One of the favorites, fan favorites to take the tournament, and he certainly lived up to the reputation.
Check out that live band we've got playing Marine King's demise here. It's the tale of the last Terran, and his life is ended by Life himself.
We will see him again, though. We will see Marine King again. Life, of course, advancing to the best of 7 final that we see later on today. But Marine King, he is going to fight for the 3rd place in this tournament here at IronSquid in Paris. He will face the loser of DRG versus Nasty.
Yeah, he will in our 3rd place match. And I'm just loving that live band we've got on the stage. IronSquid production really stepping it up, having an orchestra, live rock band. Got Calor and Wolf here, of course. They've got all the right choices.
Ah, man, those games. I would have loved the fifth one.
Yeah, I would have loved it as well. Marine King really making a great last stand there, but Life just one step ahead. This kid is unstoppable.
And now he has to show his EVZ.
He's
going to face a Zerg player. So much is true. Is he going to able to take the tournament? A lot of people said in the beginning he will be the one who will come out victorious. He's going to be the second IronSquid after MMA won the last season. Now we have Marine King, though, in the place for Ring 3. And we could see Marine King T.
We could see that again, and that's something I think a lot of fans are hoping for. Take a look at the bracket here. You see that Life wins 3-1 over Marine King. If you just tuned in the last few seconds, you probably heard already. Now, Nesty versus DRG is going to be our second semifinal. And I believe we're going to have an interview now on the couch.
Exactly. We're going to have an interview. We are throwing it back to Todd, Zoe, and the guys. Day9 and Calaris, as well as Moman, are going to talk about a little bit about the game as well. So, guys, it has been a pleasure casting this best of 5 for you. A great start into the tournament.
Yeah, we'll see you guys, of course, a little bit later for that third place match as well. Thank you for watching.
Very much, guys. It has been a pleasure listening to you, Cass. And of course, it's also been a pleasure to watch those games, even though they at times seemed a bit one-sided. But still, there are some very good points to talk about during that game. But beforehand, Todd wants to introduce some addition to our English team here. Moment apparently just appeared.
Yeah, actually, it's no secret. I'm a Protoss player. You just watch a TVZ, and this series left me very curious. Moment. What could Marine King have done better, in your opinion?
Well, he needs a microphone, Todd.
I'm not sure if he was reaching
don't
for the
want
mic.
to give me. No.
That's very questionable.
Are you raging? No. So hello everybody. Sorry for my Franglish. I will say first, and I can see the first game was a bullshit because he did pool 10 and Nexus first, command center first, so you can do nothing. The second game, I think, one timing was when he go with the third. So sorry for my English, huh? And yeah, because I think everybody, oh fuck, what is so saying? So when he come to the second and the third on the timing before the infestor, I think he need to go. They don't go away. And I think this timing can win this game and the other. So, but yeah, you can say that you don't like Zerg, no?
No, that's not the question.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I will say that hurt on Ohana to watch. Where
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Ohana hurt.
Marine King Prime, obviously in the perfect location, right? He's crushed the third base a number of times, but in that situation, there's only really two things that you can be up against: a lot of lings and infestors. You know your opponent's stuck on 2 base. You know he's probably built a macro hatch in there. That is literally what you're up against. No one's going to transition to Mutalisks at that point in time. Roach transitions would be weak as well. So Marine King Prime set himself up to defend against Infestors, but had no defense against Lings. Chose the worst choke. Could have just delayed the third and knocked down the back rocks and set up the same defense that Bomber always sets up on that map, which is completely Ling-proof. But again, just one single enormous error against pretty much the one single attack that Life could have possibly done, and it just, it was so painful to see, because I mean, I think, as we were all saying, Abyssal City is freaking impossible to win on in a Terran versus Zerg. It's so strong, such a great map for Zerg. So I really think Marine King Prime is still thinking about game number 2.
He definitely is. And I think actually Calaris made a good point during us watching the game. We obviously were talking about it. And you said, like, on Ohana, you basically what you have to do is attacking right away after you got that little advantage, or, like, you're dead.
In terms of when he was actually, well, you know, that Marine Marauder Hellion style that MKP has been using quite a lot. There's either 2 ways it goes. For him, either he kills someone outright with that kind of push, or then he dies from that point on. But as Sean was pointing out, it seemed like in that series a lot of things were really working against Marine King Prime, right? And when it did come onto Abyssal City, as you said, the architecture so difficult for Terrans to actually deal with. And Life, he thrives on maps that are as open as that. His Ling presence and his ability just to control and dominate maps like that is so hard for a player like Marine King to deal with, who had so many problems even during the group stages when he was going up against Scarlet, for example, who we cast, and Scarlet crushed him. So, yeah, Marine King was always going to have a hard time in this series, but he held his own for a bit.
Well, I'm actually really sorry. I kind of I was kind of hoping for our one Terran to go a bit further there. But still, the best of 3 match is definitely going to be just as interesting as the one we just saw. And of course, there is the second semi-finals coming up. Donregu going up against Nesty. Who would you bet on? Where go you, Jelly Beans? As we don't ever bet for money.
I mean, I would absolutely favor setting my jelly beans
On
Nesty. I mean, the fact is, Nesty is renowned as being one of the strongest ZVZers in the world. For a long time, had a 90% win rate, and even though it is less than 90% now, it's still amazing. I mean, 4-0ing Losira long ago in the GSL finals, I think is still just a great example of how versatile he is in that matchup.
I actually made a sum up of all the matches he's been playing like throughout the whole last year. His CVZ out of the Zergs being here is the best by 2% over Donregu. So I'm not sure if those 2% are going to
domination.
That's going to be very obvious.
That's fine. It's just like in school in the test, right? If you get like an 82, it's not great, but you find someone who has an 80, and you're like, dude, I'm like so much smarter than
like
you are.
So much better.
And that's not the way it works in esports.
It is.
Nesty is going to have to go battle. I actually want the thoughts from Moman, our wonderful Frenglish speaker.
My Frenglish. No, for me, I think, or for my her, I want to be with Nasty. But I think because it's Nasty, he's the creator of the universe, you know. So Arthur this, but because he's very nice. The IronSquid one was here. So many people love him. He's very nicely. But Don Gregory, I think it's better at the moment.
Yeah.
I
must say I have to go with Don Regu as well. He's looking pretty good in ZVZ in comparison to Nesty right now. Nesty, I'm under the impression, is a little bit fearful of Don Regu here for ZVZ. I mean, you say that Nesty was, 90% crazy. But ZVZ nowadays, I feel has come a long way. The evolution of the matchup's been so great, and the small timings at the very beginning, not the very beginning, but like the link timings that you can get away with, that Life has actually been exhibiting quite a lot of in previous games and stuff like that, have been really pristine and paramount. So I think Don Regu has been able to pick up on those a little bit better than Nesty has.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how confident I am in the placement of my jelly beans, I really do think that the Zerg vs. Zerg matchup has gotten so exciting to watch. All the shifts with the weird Infestor laying into Ultralisk play, the really swift third bases with slow Roach defense, the Mutalisk play, the general favoring of a lot more Hydralisks in the mid game, like what we're seeing out of players like Life, and even foreign players like Slivko. It's really, really exciting. I expect this to be a really dynamic second semifinal.
I mean, I know you enjoy ZVZ. Me and James have pointed that out a gazillion times that we love ZVZ.
Pretty good.
How are you, Todd? As we all know,
Todd, do you like ZVZ?
So much.
Todd, tell us what you think about Zerg vs. Zerg.
I don't know too much, but when I casted with Scalaris, the qualifiers for the IronSquid, he taught me a lot. I feel like he actually knows really much about this matchup, so I'm looking forward to listen to what he has to say during the games. But basically, I feel like Nesty is giving a lot of credit in ZVZ, but he used to be considered the best ZVZ, but that was a while back. After that, he's had some hard times. And he seems very fearful of Don Regu. I interviewed him earlier, and he predicted 3-1 in the favor of Don Regu, so... I mean, if you say that, I don't think he's playing weak. He's definitely thinking Don Regu has an edge over him, so I favor Don Regu as well myself.
So, apart from the games, which have obviously been pretty sick and are to be very sick to watch. What about the venue? We've all just been on stage, except you.
Aww. Not yet. I'll play a match.
Yeah, you will. You will. But we've all been on the stage. We've all had the pleasure of meeting the French audience. What were your thoughts? I was blown away.
This is amazing. I mean, it's really like the perfect example of how far esports has come, because I mean, for so long it was so difficult to get money, and then you had to spend so much of the money setting up the web streaming technology. But now that the technology is getting inexpensive, and you have people like the IronSquid team, like Ponfitude, just saying, no, we want to make this fantastic. This is far and away the most amazing chilling venue to be in. Stepping out on stage and seeing that that enormous crowd. There were and everyone's freaking out. Everyone's losing their mind. Like my heart dropped when I went up there. I was just like, oh, this is so awesome. And I mean, the full orchestral production, the beautiful highlight videos, the framing of the stage. I mean, it is top-notch quality. I mean, at this point in time, it seems to be that like this is the clear evolution for all tournaments to follow in the footsteps of IronSquid.
I think I've been spoiled this at the very start of this year. I first got to do Katowice, where we had massive crowds in the Spodek Arena, and now we're here doing this event where you walk out onto the stage, and the roar of the crowd here actually was more terrifying than the roar of the crowd in Katowice, even though there was this huge arena and stuff like that. So the crowd here is just phenomenal. It's a really, really nice feeling. And as you said, I have a soft spot for orchestras because you know, like that big band kind of theatre thing is really, really cool. So to just see all that going on from the backstage and listen to that was really awesome.
Right, and we will have the pleasure of listening to that crowd more for today. First of all, of course, thanks for a moment to giving us your Fringlish insights. And of course, once more, thanks to you guys. We're going to see you casting anytime soon with the second semi-finals coming up after a lunch break. So we will be back with IronSquid Chapter 2 Grand Finals at 2:50 p.m. So don't miss it. Go grab your snacks and then be right back. During the break, you shall not be left with nothing to watch. We will give you a rebroadcast of MKP versus Hero. And yeah, you can enjoy that, and then we will be right back with the second semi-finals. See you then.